Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next on the program is Newspaper Review.
All right, time for newspaper review with Chooks the boy, Chukwudi Okolubaja.
Hello,
seated
Victor.
and scribbling away.
I am grateful to Providence that you remembered Chooks the boy. I've not heard it for some time, and I was getting a bit sullen about it. Hello, welcome back. Live boy, live man. Live boyhood to the likes of
But
me.
you are the boy.
Demola, you're welcome back.
Thank you, Chooks.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
You're a gentleman. I wish I could be like you.
Oh, no. Just be yourself.
All right, let's begin with the blueprint, which on the front page leads with August protest. Police fear Boko Haram infiltration. FG declares prisons red zones. And it has 3 riders. Organizers list Eagle Square, Alausa Park, 6 other venues. Lagos court places restriction on protesters. Learn from our error of judgment, Kenyan bishop cautions Nigerian youth. Okay? And just above the nameplate, MTN shuts down offices nationwide over SIM blocking outrage. That story is on page 21. And then 4.2 billion naira personnel cost for Ajaokuta steel shocks Senate. Okay, everybody's in shock. And finally, on the front page of the blueprint, some sports. Olympics, Egypt peeps Spain to reach men's football quarterfinals. And our Super Eagles, or Flying Eagles, are missing from there. And let's go to the leadership, then I think I'm done with the blueprint. Crisis in Senate as Ndume refuses office relocation. That story is just above the nameplate of the leadership newspapers. And beside it, on page 21, I am willing to work with Wike if. To get details of that, find it on page 21. It's according to Senator Kingibe. And the major headline here reads, 24 hours to go. Regional leaders reject planned hunger protest. That's on page 4 with 4 riders. 9 Niger Delta states back out. FG declares prisons red zones. Conveners reject IGP's confined protest proposal. 4,200 policemen deployed in Abuja. And then there's this other story just above the major one. Obaibena Amuka, others seek monetization of media intellectual property. That story is on page 7. Well, I think I should leave it just here. Quite a number of other little stories here and there, but let me leave it here.
Okay, Victor, thank you. Let me just, I have the Nigerian Tribune, and above the nameplate, we have the 80,000 applications received for 110 billion youth investment fund in 72 hours, federal government. That story can be found on page 3. Federal government suspends import duties, taxes on essential food items. Details can be found on page 6 and below the nameplate, which is the main headline, planned hardship protest. Federal government declares prisons red zones. The details can be found on page 2 and 30. IGP advises against street processions, hold virtual meeting with Falano, Adeworowa, others. Court restrict protesters to Freedom Park, Peace Park in Lagos. Soldiers, police, DSS, others in show of force in Ibadan. Handle protest with caution to avoid repetition of NSAS. Anglican Primate tells security forces. Niger Delta stakeholders distance region from planned protests. Protests have diminished our country, Kenya Bishop. Arik Air kicks as Keyamo orders grounding of fleet. The story can be found on page 3. 2 policemen killed as kidnappers invade church, abduct former commissioner in Delta. Details can be found on page 28. Court dismisses autumn suit against Benue government. Jakonde Memorial Lecture, How Media Can Survive Current Changing Landscape. And finally, nation's crude oil daily production of 1.6 million barrels to hit 2 million barrels by December. NNPCL. Details on page 7. Chooks, it's over to you.
We'll hit 2 million barrels by December.
Yes.
Let's say, I hope it's not the usual optimism. Walk the talk, you know.
I guess
they
are working towards it.
We need our production quota, not quota now, production capacity to really heighten. It's very important for the economy at this stage. So let's pray that this time around it's going to work out. 24 hours to go. Let me not say that the nation is in a panic, but definitely we're apprehensive. Where would it go? Did you hear the voice of the Kenyan bishop?
Yeah.
Our era of judgment is not something we want you to adopt in Nigeria. Be careful. And that has been the message here. I said yesterday that I am happy so far. The government has handled the situation to the best of its ability. No jackboots, no intimidation and all that. The Minister of Information, the President, they have said, we are not against people's right to protest. It is how it goes that matters. We just said now, one of you just read, prisons are a red zone.
Yeah.
Because we know that from the past, we know that people use the opportunity to go free people who have been in detention. There's something on Boko Haram might use the opportunity to infiltrate and all that. So these are things that they agitated. And the person accounting to the people all have to bear in mind, as long as they call themselves Nigerians, we have to be strict about these things. Nobody's against anybody protesting. I kept on praising this attitude of people are free. Section 40 is quite,
It's a constitutional right.
Exactly.
And the government is just appealing.
But how do we always handle protests? What level of maturity, morality have we been bringing into it? The Venezuelans are saying, no, Nicolas Maduro, nobody voted for you. 73% of the vote went to your opponent. You didn't win. But since he took over from Hugo Chavez, almost many decades ago now, he has stuck to power. But the point I'm making is we have not heard yet that Venezuelans are breaking up things. So they have matured a bit. We have not got to where they are. So it's about how much we have matured in terms of handling protests, gentlemen.
You're right.
That's the crux of the matter.
Yeah. And that is what everybody is appealing to the protesters, to just be cautious.
Yes.
And know how to handle, especially the miscreants that may want to hijack the protest. That is just the fear of everyone now.
But I think so far they are listing venues. That's easier to manage. If you have to go to Eagle Square, for instance, go to the Alausa Park, just stay at designated places, and not you're roaming.
I like your
That's
elitist,
easier to manage.
I like your elitist geophysics. I like your location of protests in the metropolitan centers.
But
what do you have for Maraba boys? Look, Victor, Nigeria is essentially a rural setting. This chasing after the super trooper lights of the city does not work all the time. What's going to happen in those areas that cannot go to Eagle Square, that are not even interested in going to Eagle Square? They're interested more in your smartphone.
Wow.
Victor.
That will happen
And
anyway.
that is why government is trying to avert the protest, because there is no way you can predict what will happen.
Listen, I didn't say Maraba boys are thieves. I just
But you just said.
I just used them as a hinterland example.
You've got to own it.
Victor, you cannot rope me in.
You've got to own
I'm
it.
a villager, I'm a rural man, so I cannot.
You cannot totally speak for everybody. You can only speak for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, that's just the thing.
Yes.
We just hope and pray that. at
Well, I
least it
lost
will
2
not go.
phones there when I was in Jaws.
You said it again.
Maraba. Okay,
And now,
let's go.
The federal government suspend import duties, taxes on essential food items. I think it's part of the measures taken by government, to reduce the tension and also to make food available and at affordable prices for the populace. One of the demands of the protesters that the high cost of food and all that. And I think government is taking every necessary steps, to assent to all their requests.
My dear brother, I am not Bayo Nonuga or my friend Ngelali. But my inner person says to me, I wish they could give this government 1 more year to see whether the actions that have been taken won't begin to show us some good fruits. I am talking from inside me, but that's personal opinion. Government has done a few things. I'm not saying this because we're on NTA, we're on air or whatever. It's my own personal conviction. Government has done a few things that are likely, I'm not an economist, that are likely to percolate into that basket of goodies we want. I wish they could have given this government 1 more year before judging. I wish that had happened.
When we had this unfortunate news that what's her name now? Okay, all right. So let's. Okay, I think the director is calling that we should just round up this segment.
He doesn't want you to push us into an unfortunate situation.
All right. Okay, Chooks, thank you very much this
Gentlemen,
morning.
always a happy thing being here.
Good to have you.
I'm going to do all I can to make it to this place tomorrow.
All right.
Because
All
I'll
right.
miss you guys.
break a leg.
We'll take a
And
break
avoid
now.
Mararabo boys.
Look at you, rub it in.
We'll take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.